let's look at installation. First thing we need to do is we need to remove some things. So we've removed the steering wheel for clarity. You don't need to do that. You can't get the parts out without removing the steering wheel. So first thing we did was remove the 4 screws from the perimeter. Save those to reuse. Remove the headlight switch, washer switch. This panel pulls out then. You can access all of the wiring and pull it off. Make sure you label it. This piece pulls out just like that. The original cluster, we've pre-disassembled a few things to make it go a little quicker. It's held in place by 4 screws on the dash carrier. From there, you have to do a blind removal of the speedo cable and the electrical connections, and I'll show you those in a second. So this just basically pulls out just like that. The speedometer cable is removed pretty easily. Again, you have to do it blind. Basically hold down the tab, pull the cable off. The connector for the back pulls out. You can just squeeze it and pull it out. It comes off. It's real easy. Take that. Okay, now let's do a test fit of our new instrument package. Now, one thing that the reason why we make these adjustable is, as you can see, this carrier here is a molded, rubberized piece. Things move all over the place. This dash is in really good shape, so it should go relatively smoothly. But as you can see, it still has a broken connector here where this is flopping around. There's holes, there's extra holes for some reason. Who knows what the previous owners have done on this car or your car. But that's why we make these adjustable, because no two are the same. Okay, so the top 2 screws go in the same spot. And while this package is specifically designed for 70 to 78, it will physically bolt into 79 to 81. The only issue is this indicator with all your warning lights doesn't line up with anything. So we'll work on that as soon as we get our hands on it in the car. And as I said before, this dash is in good shape, but still things don't line up quite right. So I shouldn't really have to move the dash around. So we just want to get things loosely installed. Just snug down, make sure we're good. So that's pretty firm. And then right now we'll do our test fit. Just really roughly. So at this point what I would do is I would just line that up by hand, take a look, see where we're at. I have the gauges installed just loosely. I would just move them around. This one lines up pretty good. We can move all the gauges fore and aft with our spacers. We can take these spacers, put them on the back if we need to. These can come forward, these can go back a little bit. They can move left and right. These two here, the speedo and the tack, those are also designed to move up and down. Some people, when they do their install, they want to have the gauges like perfectly centered in the holes. Some people, I prefer to have them biased down just a little bit so that they look more centered even though they're not. So when you put this all together, you will not see the original the bezels on the cluster. That's the whole point. You'll only see the graphics. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple screws in here just to see where we're at. pretty important that you get this back in its original position because, as I've said, this is rubberized and there is some give to it, so it's until you get the screws fastened, it's really hard to say where this is going to sit. So I just put this in. Everything looks pretty good. I think I'm going to move this oil pressure gauge over a skosh. I'm probably going to move this fuel gauge over this way just a skosh. Speedo and tach look pretty good. Our indicator is centered. That looks good. Okay, so from there we'll make our adjustments and move on to the next steps.